law. You don't know the law.
I'll give the petition.
I have petition against her. Nonsense. Nonsense. Why is it when it comes to my case, they turn the law upside down? They turn the law upside down. Upside down. Upside down.
The rules.
Who are not educated. I am an educated man. I can't show them the petition for the simple reason that if you show it,
What the judge said was that the case file.
listen, this is the laws of Nigeria. The prosecution and this court doesn't know the law. That is the fact.
Yes.
Poor knowledge of the law is killing Nigeria. Poor knowledge of the law, they don't know the law. This is a federal gazetted law of Nigeria that says here that the chief judge of Nigeria cannot tell Binta Nyako what to do. It's here. It's your law. Just obey it. That is why I do what I do. I agitate for Biafra. I agitate for Biafra, my right to agitate. My right. They turned it from treasonable felony now to terrorism. Stop talking when I'm talking.
Pause for a moment. If you find this video story to be real and impactful, which people need to be aware of, kindly like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, as this is the only way the video can spread faster and people can be more enlightened. And we too can be more encouraged to bring more truth and happenings to the light for people to get more awareness, as we believe. This country must move forward as justice prevail, and revolution must have its place. Subscribe for better Nigeria and a real positive change than what we have had and than what we currently are facing. Once again, like, comment your thoughts, and most importantly, subscribe to get more updates and truth. Nnamdi Kanu's final trial and judgment, a turning point. The long-running trial of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, reached its climax in November 2025. A federal high court in Abuja, presided over by Justice James Omotosho, handed him a life sentence on several terrorism-related charges. Kanu was convicted on 7 counts, including broadcasting messages that the court said incited violence, enforcing sit-at-home orders, belonging to a prescribed group, IPOB, and illegally importing a radio transmitter used for political broadcasts. For counts 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, the court imposed life imprisonment. On the 3rd count, belonging to a prescribed group, he was sentenced to 20 years, and on count 7, importing the radio transmitter, 5 years. Though prosecutors had pushed for the death penalty, Justice Omotosho declined, invoking mercy and even referring to a biblical injunction in his reasoning. The court also ordered that the radio transmitter seized from Kanu be forfeited to the federal government. Importantly, the judge labeled Kanu an international terrorist under the relevant Nigerian law. He also ruled that, despite Kanu's long campaign for Biafran self-determination, any claim to self-determination must be done according to the Constitution of Nigeria, making unilateral secession illegal. Because of what the court described as his tendency for violence and his influence, the judgment ordered that Kanu be held in protective custody in a prison facility, but not necessarily Kuje, due to security risks, and restricted from unsupervised access to devices such as computers, which the court said he had used in the past to broadcast. These are how the public reacted. Some Igbo voices strongly rejected the judgment, saying it had been written even before the trial started. The Igbo Community Association in Abuja urged caution ahead of the verdict, warning that a harsh sentence could reignite tensions. Former Senate Minority Leader Enyinnaya Abaribe called the life sentence the culmination of a long-running plot, suggesting the process was politically predetermined. Former Education and Health Minister Professor Ihechukwu Madubuike expressed hope for an appeal, reminding people that Kanu had 90 days to lodge one. 2. Supporters and IPOB, through its spokespeople, condemned the verdict. In the aftermath, they reiterated commitment to a peaceful self-determination strategy, calling for a UN-supervised referendum rather than violence. They also denied that Kanu had ordered any armed attacks, maintaining that their struggle was political, not criminal. 3. Critics of Kanu use state supporters. Others, including some political and security commentators, saw the verdict as necessary. From the government's perspective, sentencing Kanu to life sends a strong message that separatist agitation, when carried out in ways deemed violent or threatening, will be met with the full weight of the law. Some in the public argued that Kanu's broadcasts and sit-at-home orders had real economic and social costs, grounding businesses, preventing daily activity, and raising the risk of violence. 4. Broader political concerns. There is a broader fear among some observers that the verdict could polarize Nigeria further. For many in the Southeast, the conviction may feel like an attempt to criminalize political dissent or as punishment for the idea of self-determination, rather than punishment for actual violence. Others worry that without addressing the root causes, grievances about marginalization, historical injustices, economic neglect, the sentence could deepen alienation rather than bring peace. Meanwhile, IPOB's commitment to a peaceful path, at least publicly, raises the question: will the movement now shift strategy more sharply toward diplomacy, international pressure, or legal advocacy? What comes next? Possibilities and risks. Given the verdict and public reaction, several possible scenarios could unfold. 1. Appeals and legal battles. Kanu's team is likely to appeal. Given the severity of the sentence, legal avenues remain open: Court of Appeal and possibly the Supreme Court, though the path may be uphill. The defense had previously argued that the trial process was flawed. For instance, Kanu declined to call 23 witnesses and challenged the court's jurisdiction. Some of his lawyers have also questioned earlier Supreme Court decisions, calling them constitutional errors. 2. Peace versus escalation. IPOB may double down on peaceful advocacy, pushing for international mediation or a UN-style referendum, as they've signaled. Alternatively, there is a risk that frustration could mount. If moderate voices feel unheard, radical elements could push toward more militant action, though this is not guaranteed. 3. Political fallout. Dialogue. Political leaders, both in the Southeast and federal government, might use this moment to restart dialogue, though trust is weak. Some analysts believe this could force the government to reckon more seriously with the socio-economic and political grievances of the Igbo region, not merely treat IPOB as a security threat. 4. Security risks. There may be heightened security in the Southeast, especially if protests or demonstrations emerge. The state may also clamp down more on perceived IPOB supporters, which could backfire if not handled carefully. 5. International attention. The case already draws international interest. If Kanu supporters lean more into diplomatic or legal advocacy abroad, they may try to internationalize the issue. Human rights groups may scrutinize the fairness of the trial, the conditions of his detention, or the proportionality of the sentence. Nnamdi Kanu's conviction and life sentence mark a major turning point in the Biafran separatist saga. On one hand, the court's ruling is a definitive legal rebuke. It frames his actions as terrorism. If you find this video story to be real and impactful, which people need to be aware of, kindly like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, as this is the only way the video can spread faster and people can be more enlightened. And we too can be more encouraged to bring more truth and happenings to the light for people to get more awareness, as we believe. This country must move forward as justice prevail, and revolution must have its place. Subscribe for better Nigeria and a real positive change than what we have had and than what we currently are facing. Once again, like, comment your thoughts, and most importantly, subscribe to get more updates and truth.